Have you ever wondered how to get your book published? It may seem like a simple question and fairly obvious, but it's actually a very complicated and detailed process. So, whether you're dreaming of seeing your name on a bestseller or you just want to share your story with the world, in today's episode, I'm going to outline your step-by-step guide to navigating the publishing and author journey. We're going to go deep into perfecting your manuscript, to pitching literary agents, or go through self-publishing if that's the path you want to go down. We've got you covered. This is Your Path to Publish. I'm your host, Zach Christensen. For the past decade, our team has guided authors just like you to find the best path to publish your book, get people excited to buy it even before it launches, and to turn it into the ultimate business card to build your business and your legacy. If you are ready to get your book out of your head and into people's hands, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. I first started in the book publishing world in 2011 when I was finishing up my undergraduate degree. And my undergraduate degree was in psychology with a business minor, and I wanted to end up going into some type of consulting and getting my foot in the door and trying to figure out where I wanted to focus. Those of you who have a psychology degree soon realize when you're going through it that if you want to actually have a job that pays well, that's in psychology, you really end up having to go for a graduate degree. So for my undergrad, I knew I wanted to go into some aspect of either counseling, psychiatry, organizational psychology, or business, but it was really going to be focused on the side of helping people at work. So I landed on organizational psychology, and I knew that I wanted to get some experience first before I jumped into a graduate program. So through some connections and networking, I was able to get my foot in the door at Franklin Covey. And their most famous book is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I ended up getting an internship in their media publishing department. I thought this would be a good way to get my feet wet into the consulting industry and understanding how they do things, and then I can always pivot and then eventually go on and get a degree, which I eventually did. But little did I know that I would keep coming back and really enjoy book publishing and helping authors. And it's been a good way for me to blend organizational psychology and book publishing. When I first got into publishing, I was surprised at how involved the process was, meaning how many steps it took, how many people were involved, how many different expertise needed to be a part of producing what seems like a simple book. You got the writing, you got the publishing, you got the marketing, you got the design, you got the layout, you got the cover design, you have feedback, you have editors. Like there's a big team involved with this. And it was really fascinating and slow at the same time. Like a single book project, by the time it's thought of, the idea is thought of, could take anywhere from, on the low end and fast, a year. That's really fast. Or it could take up to 3, 4, 5 years if you're going at what I would say is a pretty normal pace. As you move through your author journey, one of the major steps is going to the book publishing phase when you have your manuscript completely ready. So you may be asking, well, what stage does all this start at with my manuscript? I would say it's when you have a solid first draft. You may have had a few rounds of feedback or some people giving you feedback, but your content is fairly locked. To help make it strong as possible, you're seeking feedback, not only from the editors, but beta readers. So your beta readers can offer valuable insights, but you want to be clear about the kind of feedback that you need. From those who are just reading it and giving general feedback from your audience to professional editors who bring their expertise to help you look at the structure, help you refine the words and sentence structure you're using, to the final polishing when someone's going to go through and check everything from the periods, the spelling, the spacing, and all of that stuff. And just remember, feedback isn't about tearing your work apart. It's about building it up to be the best it can be. Your manuscript is your calling card. It represents you as your brand. So you want to make it as strong as possible. One of the most common paths that authors want to go down, or at least it's the longest publishing path that's been out there, is going through traditional publishing. And traditional publishing has within itself several different steps. The first step is to start finding publishers that you can pitch it to. Now, many publishers, especially the big publishers, will require an agent. And you can find out on their websites if they want it from an agent or a publisher. So this could be one step in just finding a publisher, following their submission guidelines, and you don't need to worry about the extra step of finding an agent. But if you do need an agent, you're going to want to look for one that represents your genre and you follow their submission guidelines. This typically is going and researching similar books and finding which agents represented those books, and then looking at seeing if they would be a good fit for you as an author. Think of this stage as matchmaking. You're looking for the perfect fit for your book. And for you as an author with an agent who's going to be able to represent you well, push back and give you feedback, but also be collaborative for what you want to do. Because many agents you'll get locked in with for many books and oftentimes for life as the author. The next step, as you've done your research for agents and publishers, will be the reach out to the agent or publisher. And this begins either with a query letter or a book proposal. Agents typically want a query letter, something that's one page long, and it's your elevator pitch of your book. So you're going to want to hook them in with your book's premise, genre, and word count, generally. And then you personalize your letter to show you've done your homework to the agent or the publisher. You don't want to make it sound generic that you're just spraying and praying that you're going to be able to find something you want. The more targeted you are, the more personal you are, the better chances you'll at least get a response, even if it's not a good fit. After you've done your research and crafted your query letter, you're looking at the different submission and publishing options. So you'll end up submitting to your agents first, unless a publisher has stated that they're fine to take unsolicited manuscripts, which basically means manuscripts without an agent. To stay organized, keep track of your submissions in a spreadsheet, a Word document, or whatever it is that will help you keep organized, and make sure you include the responses you get and the timelines that you get. And the number one thing you're going to need to expect and accept and embrace throughout this process is that rejections are a part of the experience. Each one of them gets you closer to finding the right home for your book, or at some point realizing maybe traditional publishing isn't your path and you can explore other publishing options. If you end up going down the traditional publishing route, yourself or an agent will submit your book proposal out to the publishers and you'll get responses back. If you get a yes, the next step is that a publisher wants to learn a little bit about you as the author, what you envision, and ask further questions to understand what kind of book you have and how you're going to go about promoting and helping sell the book. Publishers do want good books with unique ideas, but ultimately they are a business at the end of the day. They need to have profitable books to keep them going. If everything looks good, then you'll see the contract, review the contract with your agent, and if everything looks great, you'll sign it. If not, you'll negotiate some of the points, and if the negotiations are accepted or come to a different conclusion, then you can move forward or decide that you don't want to engage. It's ultimately up to you. So if traditional publishing doesn't end up being right for you, you can explore other options. One of those options is self-publishing. And self-publishing does have its trade-offs from traditional publishers, but some of those trade-offs can be highly valuable for authors, such as you have full creative control over your book. You'll get a higher royalty. You say what happens when, for the most part, and then you handle all the production and marketing of the book. Both paths, traditional and self-publishing, have their pros and cons, and make sure you understand and choose the right one that aligns with your goals as an author. Now, no matter what publishing path you end up going down, you're going to need to overcome different challenges. It can be hard. You have this idea, you're putting it down, you're working hard, and let's say you were able to get your book out and written really fast, but then you hit some roadblocks with traditional publishing or even self-publishing. It may take longer than you think. So being patient and persistent is key. Publishing is a marathon. It's not a sprint. There may be times that you feel like you're sprinting, but stay at it day after day. To do that, stay focused on your why. That's one of the first things I always talk about with authors is why are you writing this book? The why that you have helps you push through setbacks and delays. So just remember, every successful author has faced rejection. What sets them apart is their determination to keep going and find the right path for them and what one's going to help them to thrive. I'd love to hear about where you're at in your publishing journey. Are you drafting, editing, or are you ready to pitch? Connect with me on my website, juxtabook.com, and be sure to check out the Juxtabook Author Edge community. You can go to juxtabook.com to discover the Author Edge community and see if it's a place you want to join. We have a lot of fun there, and there's a lot of great benefits by joining the community. Join us for next week's episode as we talk about author credentials, how individuals search out author credentials, and what it means for you as the author, and how to make sure your credentials will resonate with the message of your book. Thanks for listening. Go out there, dust off your manuscript, and turn it into a bestseller that grows your business, your brand, and your impact.